Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to Super Geeked. I'm Victoria and I'm in my new office. Yay, I'm so excited. I will be bringing a tour to you soon. I'm still sort of putting everything together. You can see Spider-Man. You can see Spider-Man's up there. My kid got in trouble and got his stuffed animal taken away. So there's a lot of stuff that still needs to be set up in here, but I promise you, you will get a tour as soon as it's done. And I'm going to show you my inventory storage unit outside. I have a little mini warehouse. I've talked about it lots on this channel, and I thought it'd be really cool to show you that too at the same time that I show you my new office. So definitely productive in here at the start of 2023. A lot of stuff going on in both my personal and professional life, and so it is what it is. I'm getting you a video out today. Hopefully we will be a little more consistent this year. That is the goal. So can't wait to show you what I have going on and some exciting things happening over here at Super Geeked. But today we're going to have a what sold video. So I'm going to share with you what sold for me at the end of 2022. All right, so we're going to go over my end of the year sales for December 2022, and we're going to do it a little different than we normally do. I'm screen recording my screen so I can show you the items, and you'll also get to see me, hopefully, in the bottom corner. We'll see how this works out. But let's get into it. We're going to start with Poshmark, which is where I sell the majority of my items. First, I have this H&M collaboration shirt. Now, I don't normally pick up H&M. We don't have any H&M stores here in South Mississippi. I got these at the Jackson, Mississippi bins, and actually Ridgeland. And so I only paid $1.54 for the items in this haul, and it ended up selling for $32. So that was a nice flip for me. And definitely in H&M, and maybe H&M specifically, they have a lot of collaborations with bigger designers, and when they do, sometimes those are worth looking up. So I did look this up, checked it out, and seemed to be doing pretty well. And as you can see, this was really cute. It had like balloon sleeves and was a button front. So yeah, this GP&J Baker collab with H&M might be something that you want to keep an eye out for. Next up were some Frye sneakers. I got these in a mystery box. It was actually America's Thrift Supply, which is a southern thrift store chain. It's called America's Thrift Stores. We have a lot of them here in South Mississippi and cities close to us, like Mobile, Alabama. Love their stores. So I was excited to get these suede sneakers. They're in a cool olive color. As you can see, I like bright colors. I'm a bright color kind of girl, but for some reason I'm always gravitating towards the color olive. So I did think these were cool. Average cost of goods in that lot that I got from America's Thrift Supply was $4.12, and these sold for $44, so great flip on these too. Next up was a Free People cardigan. I did have to do a little bit of work to this. It had a couple spots on it, but I consider myself good at getting spots out, so I got those little spots out. This was a white sweater, so it wasn't too hard to sort of get that. Sometimes you can use a little bit of bleach. I try not to use straight bleach because straight bleach can damage the materials of a garment. So I also like to use a product called Retro Clean, and you can soak garments in that, and it works wonderfully. There's also some other products I use, and maybe I'll do a video eventually of me spot treating some items. Hey, actually, I plan on doing a video. I don't know what I'm going to call it, but I need to do a series because I literally have a mountain over here of items that need to be mended, stain treated, all the things. And I think it would be neat to see that not all garments are going to take a ton of extra work for you to get a couple of spots out. So for example, this cardigan only took a tiny bit of work, and I'm able to give it new life in a new home. So, and this I did pay $6.77 at a thrift store, and I sold it for $38. So sometimes it takes just a little bit of extra, elbow grease to put in, especially with like shoes and things, but there are tricks that'll help you get those items looking good. And I don't have a lot of returns, thankfully, and that is because I think I put extra care into my items and make sure they look good, because I'm thinking, if I was the buyer and purchasing this, even though I know it's secondhand, would I be happy with this purchase? So just some tips I'm going to go ahead and I guess I'm going to do a video. Yeah, your girl's going to do a video. So watch out for that. Okay, great sale. Gotta brag on my girl Amanda for a second. She lives in Georgia, not too far. Just a couple states away, not too far. Hopefully one day I'll get to hang out with her in person. We've talked about it. She used to go by Miss A Web on YouTube, and now she's changed her YouTube and her Instagram to Hedonist Seller. And so I'm going to link her YouTube and Instagram below. She's a really cool reseller, and she happens to have purchased from me a couple times. One when she was pregnant with her daughter, which was really cool, and then she scooped up this Peruvian connection cotton dress for me. She watched the haul here on YouTube and immediately messaged me and picked it up. Actually, she may have bought it before she even messaged me. Actually, she did. Brain fart. Anyway, actually, I can check that, huh? Actually, I could just click on her here. She's the only one that liked it because I had just gotten it listed. But here's Amanda's store on Poshmark, but she also has YouTube and Instagram. So definitely go check her out. She is hilarious. You will not regret watching her on YouTube. She always has me rolling. And she's a smart gal. She is a former attorney turned reseller and mommy. So anyway, thank you, Amanda, for purchasing from me again. I did send her some Super Geeked goodies and some Disney stuff that I had because she's a big Disney lover. So I had purchased this for $4.62 and she purchased it for $55. So another awesome flip. I just love selling dresses. So yeah, thanks, Amanda. Okay, next up was this Vince Teddy sweater. I had picked this up in New Orleans at a thrift store. I go thrifting with my girlfriends a lot out of town. You'll see that a lot on this channel. And this year, one of my goals is to make sure that I thrift at least once a month out of town. I do have an exciting announcement. I was picked up as a influencer collab for a Goodwill locally, and I'm going to talk more about that, but that means more trips to this area, so you'll see that in a future video. So the Teddy sweater I bought for $6.60. It was a hoodie, and it was merino wool and fuzzy like a teddy bear. If you know the Teddy style, then you know what I'm talking about. And I flipped this from $6.60 at the thrift store to $75. So can't beat that. And just in case you're curious, I usually break down my cost of goods, fees, and shipping on these, but because I'm behind on showing you what solds, I want to go through all these, and so I'm not really saying that. But just know that $75 is not what I took home. You have to take out the cost of goods, fees, and shipping. If I give a shipping discount, or if they're on another platform, sometimes they pay for shipping. So sometimes I pay for shipping, like Mercari, I do free shipping. So in those cases, there will be a deduction. So $75 is not what I took home, but to flip an item from $6.60 into $75 is great. So for example, after fees and everything on this, I would have made $53.40, and that's what went into my bank account. All right, this is a fun hard goods sale. Again, I've talked about wanting to get more into hard goods. I had picked this up at a thrift store for a while ago, had thought about keeping it because I do collect mid-century modern. I used to have a bunch of Black Panther planters, a whole collection of them, but I sold those years ago. I like to cycle through my collections. So I thought about keeping this, but I don't really have any anymore, and it kind of was out of place at what decor I have going on right now, although I do have black furniture in here, so could have gone with that, but we did sell it. So I did pay up for this. I paid $15 at the thrift store for this because, again, I was thinking about keeping it, but I also knew how much they sell for because I collect them myself. So I did sell this for $44. So still a great flip. And after deductions on this, I came home with $18.48. So still a great flip, even though I paid up for it. Okay, this is a Lululemon pullover. I got this at America's Thrift Store in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. So it's thrifted. It was in excellent condition, almost too good to be true. I thought, is this fake? But it wasn't. It had all the markings and the original pull tag. So I paid $4.85 for this, and it sold on Poshmark for $48. And it only sold in 5 days. So we love that. This was another quick sale. This was a Free People top. It was plaid and button front, but also it had this like weird bleaching effect. And I thought, oh, did somebody home bleach this? So I had to look up the stock photos to make sure. and sure enough, it was supposed to be that way. So I bought this for $6.57 and it flipped in only 4 days for $28. Free People doesn't go for as much as it used to, so I was super happy with that flip, and because it was so quick. So that's quick money back into my pocket. Okay, these I am not very good at. I just showed you Lululemon, but I'm not the best at athletic wear. It's not really my wheelhouse. So I do pick up brands that I know are hot right now, but you know, other stuff I'm not really sure. I did try these because they were new with tags. They were space dyed Adidas leggings. I picked them up for $5.80 at the thrift store, thinking they're new with tags, they're at least gonna double my money, and I did. They sold for $22. So not a huge profit, but definitely did flip for a profit. So who's complaining? Okay, love to pick up vintage. I got a whole bunch of vintage sweaters this one day at the America's Thrift Store in Biloxi, and this is just an 80s sweater. This is the only one that wasn't like a pastel sort of cottagecore look. It had more of an abstract floral. So I paid $6.21 for this, and it flipped for $31. And I did list this on all 4 of the platforms I sell on: eBay, Etsy, Poshmark, and Mercari. And a bunch of the sweaters from this lot that I picked up also sold on Etsy. They do sell for a lot more on Etsy because people in searching on Etsy know vintage and don't mind paying up for vintage there. But I don't have consistent sales on Etsy only because I don't list vintage items daily. Therefore, without listing daily on Etsy, you don't get as many sales, but that's okay. I'm not going to get rid of the platform because when I do have a sale, it's a great one. This next item sold to another viewer, my girl Jessica over J. Lee Styles. I know her from YouTube, from her constantly watching my videos and commenting, and she did pick this up. This was in a recent haul. Again, not a brand I usually pick up, is Cato, but this was new with tags. It was had a lot of things going for it: plus size, button front, and it had these faux leather stars all over it. Very cool. I even thought about, you know, picking it up for me, but it's not really my style. So I did decide to go ahead and sell it. So Jessica, thank you so much. Again, if you reach out to me and you are a viewer and let me know that, I will send you some Super Geeked merch and some other goodies in your package. So definitely, if you purchase from me, let me know, because I do want to recognize you both on YouTube and in your order. And don't worry, if you don't want to be recognized on YouTube, no problem, I don't mind. But anyway, thank you again, Jessica. She is J. Lee Styles over on Poshmark and on Instagram, so go check her out. Again, I will link her in the description below so you can give her a follow on Instagram and on Poshmark. And thank you again for the sale. Oh, and the stats. So I did purchase this at a thrift store for $5.57, and it sold for $25. So not a huge flip. I made $12.71, but so happy to have a viewer like Jessica, who is, you know, we met through the interwebs, and she's a really sweet person. So can't complain about that at all. So this was a vintage toy decanter. I knew it wasn't going to bring in a whole lot of money. It's just one, you know, it's not a set, and it definitely is a certain niche market, but I couldn't leave it at the thrift store. It was too cute, and it was made in Argentina by Castro Plastics. It had these little toy soldiers all over it. I paid $1.89 and it sold for $15. So I made $10.11 and saved this little bad boy from getting trashed, and it went to a new home. Okay, next up is some Lafayette 148 jeans. These were sort of like that wax denim look, and I have a hard time with Lafayette 148 pants, but I thought, you know, these are kind of neat. We'll try them out. You know, it's the thrift store, so I knew I could probably at least triple my money on these, and I did. So these originally retailed for $3.98, but this is one of those brands you'll hear a lot of resellers say, just because something sells retail for a lot does not mean it's going to resell for a lot. And that's the truth with this brand. You know, some items can sell for a lot more. Definitely blazers, dresses, things like that. But things like pants and denim are going to flip for 50 and under, which is still a great flip. But don't expect to be getting over $100 for a pair of jeans unless there's some brand new style, new with tags, you know, has several things going for it. So I bought these for $10.15 and they flipped for 50. So good flip, definitely made a nice profit. After deductions, I made $29.85 on these. Okay, these were some, I don't know if I bought these for myself, but they're not really my style. I think I had like a whole barware thing about 15 years ago where I was buying a whole ton of barware and maybe bought these, but never really used them. They were a little, they were called Southern Comfort Steamboat glasses by Libbey Glass Company. They are mid-century era. They, had a lot of the gold was missing, which you'll find a lot, but it's 22 karat gold. Usually if you find these glass sets like this from Libbey and other companies, they are 22, 24 karat gold. So just, you know, check, look that up and see if you may have one of those. And sometimes that can help a little bit if you use that in the listing. But I don't even remember how much I paid for these, but they sold for 19. They've been sitting in my cabinet forever and never used. So happy to see them go to a new home. Okay, I picked this up at an America's Thrift store thinking my husband might want it. We are Saints season ticket holders for the New Orleans Saints. This was their former quarterback, Drew Brees, and my husband doesn't have a Saints jersey. He's really a Bengals fan because he's from Ohio, but he does support the Saints because they're our local team, and he loves me and doesn't want to die. So I got this for him. It was a little too big. And it was a little too big for him, and so I did go ahead and sell it. So I paid $6.77 for this at the thrift store, and it flipped for 40. So would have been cool if he got to keep it. If not, I can sell it. Okay, this was a Target collaboration. I have done a video on what, I think I did 2 videos. Yeah, I think I've done 2 collaboration videos on what Target collabs to look out for. I need to do an updated one because there are a lot of new Target collabs like Love Shack Fancy, and those you need to look up. Don't pass them up. Some of the Lily Pulitzer, some of the Rachel Comey, you know, it may even be just one item. They may have had a whole line of Target collab pieces, but there's one piece that resells for a lot. So I saw this at my local liquidation store dirt cheap, and it was discounted because it was from Target. I paid $4.62 for it, and it flipped for 38. Some of the comps were a little higher. This girl and I went back and forth a lot over this jumpsuit. She really wanted it, but she wanted a deal, and I felt like 38 was fair. So I did take the offer for 38 after a little back and forth. And I do always counter offers. I'm not somebody who declines even lowball offers. I will just counter higher. And if they don't want it, they can decline me. They can counter again. It doesn't bother me at all because I use Posture VA to share my Poshmark closet to send out offers automatically when people like an item. And so the little bit that I'm doing on Poshmark is listing, because I list first on Poshmark and then upload into Vindu to cross post to my other platforms. So usually I'm only on there for that and to review offers. So I don't mind countering people. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't make me mad. Some resellers get really mad when people send them lowball offers, but people are trying to get a good deal. You know, I don't think it's insulting. I'll just tell them no. They can go somewhere else, you know, if they don't like it. So this was a great flip, and I do like picking up from that Dirt Cheap and Treasure Hunt, the liquidation company. So if you're in the South, I have a haul coming up. They got some Nordstrom stuff in, and I paid $40 an item, but I cannot wait to show you what I'm getting and what I expect to get for these items. Okay, next up is Everlane. Everlane has gone in the toilet as far as comps. And when I mention comps, if you're a new reseller, that means comps are comparables or solds. of the same item. So you can get on any of the platforms. I think maybe like Etsy is the only one, but like eBay or Poshmark or Mercari, and look at the same items, search for them and see what they've sold for on that platform, and get an idea of what your items are going to sell for before you purchase them at thrift stores, estate sales, garage sales, liquidation companies, wherever you're going. I got a bunch of these side zip pants. A bunch of them were new with tags. This was the only one that wasn't new with tags. But they're called the work pant. They are stretchy, but they don't sell for as much as they used to. They did sell for $38, which is still good, not complaining, but definitely kind of more picky with Everlane and what I'm picking up. I did pay $6.60 at the thrift store for these, so happy about the flip, but definitely checking comps on Everlane going forward. Okay, these were damaged, like really damaged. These came in an America's Thrift Supply box, and they had the straps cut off. So right here, you can see in my picture, the straps cut off. Let me get a side picture of it, and you can see they were cut off here. There was a little damage here to the front, and all I do is I do photograph up close. See, this is where the strap must have gone right here, and then over to the sides, and I did the close-up of these where it's been cut off. And then I do list it in the description. These shoes were altered and ankle straps were cut off, priced accordingly. See final photo to see the original, because I did put a stock photo here so you can see what it was supposed to look like. So they cut this and this, so it's just like a slide on. But you cover yourself. When you are honest to your buyers and you tell them, hey, this item's heavily damaged, of course these would have sold for a lot more if they had been still together, but they still sold. I still made a profit on them. So they sold for $22, and that's great for me because they were so highly damaged. All right, next up is this Forever 21 sleeveless blouse. This was mine, and I never wore it. It didn't have the tags on it anymore. I must have taken them off a long time ago, but I don't even remember when I bought this. So probably at least 10 years ago, maybe more. Anyway, I did sell it and I made 22 bucks. So I've been really organizing and cleaning my house recently. And so happy to get rid of anything. Makes me feel good to sort of purge. These were some Tom's booties. I don't really pick up Toms anymore. Sometimes I'll get them in maybe like a mystery box, but I haven't really been buying mystery boxes. I bought one shoe box all last year, and this year I don't know if I'm buying any. We will see. Only time will tell, huh? But I did get these at a thrift store. I took a long time to list them. They were in my death pile, probably because I just wasn't excited to list them. Let's see, I paid $6.86 for them, and they flipped for $30. So after deductions, I made $15.42. Not a great sale. And like, I recently found some really cute leather Toms at a thrift store and really thought about picking them up because the style is really cute, really on trend. But Toms is just not a brand that does well, and I just really don't like it. So I opted not to get them. This is a Magashoni sweater. I got this at a thrift store. It was cashmere and was super soft. So yeah, Magashoni is a designer brand, mid-tier. What I like to pick up, right in my wheelhouse. And you can see why I paid $4.85 for it, and it flipped for $44. So, and it flipped the same day. So less than 24-hour sale for 44 bucks. Can't beat that. And then my take home was $30.35 after deductions. ModCloth, huge seller of ModCloth. You watch any What Sold videos, you always see at least one ModCloth. I haven't had a lot of new inventory in a while. Hopefully that'll change. Hopefully my liquidation company will get some, or I will come upon some. I did have a local reseller here, Tabitha. Sweet, sweet girl. We definitely have talked about getting together and thrifting in person. She is going back to a regular job, so she is going to be downsizing her reselling business. She still is reselling. So again, like the other people I've mentioned in this video, I will link her below. Her Instagram and Poshmark Closet are rehabs by tab. So Definitely give her a follow, check her out. She's very sweet. She is planning to offer me to purchase a bunch of ModCloth, so hopefully I'll have some new ModCloth stuff in rotation. Either way, she's a great girl, so go check her out. Anyway, this was a ModCloth fit and flare dress. Not one of the most exciting novelty print dresses that ModCloth has because it's just a floral, but I did get these from the liquidation store here in Mississippi called Dirt Cheap, and I did pay a whopping $2.14 for this precious little dress, and sold it for $95. So that was an awesome sale. Again, I swear by ModCloth, and like I've said many times, if you're ever outsourcing and you find a ModCloth piece and you're wanting to get more information on it, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. My DMs are always open. This was the brand Cut from the Cloth. I only pick up the new tag, which is this, from Cut from the Cloth, and I really like to pick up plus sizes, and they flip super fast. These actually were a size 2, so these were not plus size, but they were really cute, had some minor distressing, factory of course, and these are called the Catherine Boyfriend. Boyfriend style jeans are really hot right now, so figured it was a no-brainer. Picked them up for $6.54 at my local thrift store, and they flipped for $44. So don't sleep on Cut from the Cloth. Okay, this is a brand I don't normally pick up anymore. This is Lucky brand, and they have been listed for a while. They've been listed for 164 days, but if you know, you know, I'm a sucker for polka dots, and I saw these polka dot jeans, and I thought, oh, they're so cute. I can't just leave them at the thrift store. So I did pay $6.46, and they flipped for $36. So $20.62 profit. Pretty good. But I do steer clear of Lucky brand most of the time. This was a fun pickup. So I went on a road trip, not this past summer, but the summer before, and this did sit in my death pile for a little bit. But I did get a lot of hard goods on that trip because I went to Richmond, Virginia, where my girl Bob Buys is from. Well, she's from outside of Richmond, but I did get to go hang out with her when I was up there in the Richmond area, and I picked up so many like antiques and mid-century pieces. It was so exciting to go in a thrift store, and they have so many like antiques. It's like, I realize that part of the country is a lot older, but holy crap, y'all, it was just, I wish I lived up there because I would definitely be more of a hard goods seller. I did find this Alton hand-painted golden retriever figurine statue, whatever you want to call it. It was made in England, and it was made of bone china. So these are hand painted. There was a whole bunch of dogs. I did only pick up 2 of them because they were the only ones that I really thought were worth anything. So I paid $5.79 for this. And oh, by the way, this did sell on eBay for $85. So really, really happy with that flip. Okay, another eBay sale. This was also from that same trip. Now, this was a reproduction. It was a mid-century era reproduction of an earlier tea set. You can tell, this is how you know it's a reproduction. Do you see those dots there? So those dots are simulated when they manufacture these. This originally, if this was an original German picture, this would have, I mean, it's still German. I mean, it's still made in Germany, but if this had been a original antique, it would not have this sort of like dot pattern because it would have been hand painted. So there would be inconsistencies in the paint, but you would not see this dot. But that indicates that it was printed. It still has some of the same quality as the original antiques, but definitely reproduction, but it still sold for $38 on eBay, and I had only paid $5.79. Same thrift trip in Richmond at a Goodwill, so happy about that flip. Another eBay sale. This was Bryn Walker. This was a tweed poncho, so it had no arms on it. You just threw it over, had a cowl neck, and kangaroo pocket in the front. Sold for $65. I had picked it up at a thrift store for $6.57. So again, nice flip. eBay's really been doing great for me, especially in January. I've been really paying attention to listing this month, or this past month, and so sales have been through the roof, and that just tells you you have control over your business, and the more you put into it, the more you dedicate to it, the sky's the limit. This was a Calvin Klein dress, another brand I don't normally pick up, but I love this style, very vintage inspired, had the tie elbow sleeves. It was button front, very sort of 1950s mid-century housewife with a black and white gingham print, and it was new with tags, so definitely a good pickup. Even though Calvin Klein is a brand that always sells for a lot, I do find some of their dresses, depending on the style, will sell pretty well. This I paid $6.57 for, and it sold for $85, so great flip. After all the deductions, I did make $44.57 on it. So this is Eloquy. This dress did go international, and I love a good international sale, whether it's on Etsy or eBay. I hope that the other platforms eventually move to international sales. eBay has a great global shipping program where you basically ship it to them and they ship it overseas. You don't have to deal with the filling out of duties and taxes. But when I do make a sale on Etsy that is international, I use Pirate Ship. You fill out all the information there. It will guide you through coding the item, because a lot of countries require you to code exactly what's in the package, because duties and taxes are based on that. And then also, you know, putting the amount and things like that. So definitely recommend Pirate Ship if you do international sales on other platforms. I love Pirate Ship. I use it for Mercari and Etsy, so and eBay. So anyway, this sold internationally, and it was an Eloquy dress. I got this on a trip at the end of the year to Washington, D.C. with my bestie. She let me go to one thrift store, and I say let because I was on vacation. She does not like going thrifting with me. She's not a thrift store girl, but she did go. She was a good sport and got herself a couple things, so that was fun. And I did get this dress. I do like selling Eloquy. It's a good plus size brand. Some people have said they have trouble selling it. I don't. I actually like to buy Eloquy. It's their garments last a long time, and you can get a lot of stuff on good sales on there. So if you're a plus size gal like me, check out Eloquy. They constantly are marking down items, or you can get it on the secondhand market like this dress. I did have to do a little bit of sweater shaving to this. It did have some pilling on it, but not a big deal. Don't mind doing a little work to my garments, like I said earlier in the video. So this sold for $55, and I had picked it up for $7.42, so their prices were a little higher, but I came home with $32.91 after deduction, so great sale. Okay, another mod cloth. I actually own this skirt and love it. I love all the quirky novelty print stuff. I get a lot of comments on this. This is called the Aloha skirt. Definitely a Hawaii or Hawaiiana if you're into mid-century collecting of rattan and that sort of Hawaiian vibe that was really popular. Very cute, vintage inspired, could appeal to a whole bunch of different weird people like me. And So I bought this way back when we had a big ModCloth buyout at the local liquidation store, and I paid $7 for it, and it sold $4.55. I took a best offer, so great flip, and definitely recommend ModCloth. Again, you're welcome to reach out to me anytime if you have questions about ModCloth pieces. This is J. Godfrey. I got this at the bins in Jackson, Mississippi. I was so excited to find this. I found a whole bunch of mid-tier designer stuff together. A lot of it has already sold. So because I got it at the bins, it was only $1.54, and it did end up selling for $87. And after deductions, I made $63.52. So not all J. Godfrey will sell for as much. But I knew this dress was hot, being white, being a mock neck, and could be worn for, was very versatile, could be worn for a bunch of different occasions, including bridal showers, wedding parties, even cocktail parties. So I did pick it up, and plus it's the bins, so I wasn't going to leave it. Next up were some Stuart Weitzman boots. I got these at the America's thrift store. They were super hard to photograph, and they're really old photographs. I probably could have retaken these. They're honestly not that great. And but anyway, you can see they're tall brown riding boots. They said on the bottom, they said Stuart Weitzman. I don't pick up a lot of Stuart Weitzman. It has to be a cool style nowadays for me to pick it up. I pass on a lot of it, especially if it's marked up. These boots took 620 days to sew. That's a lot. I had paid $6, and 59 cents for them at America's Thrift Store. And they sold for a best offer for $100. After deductions, I made $69.78 on these boots. So I probably wouldn't, I might pick them up again. It's hard for me when an item takes like 2 or 3 years to sell, and then you get this great sale price and you're like, would I still pick it up? I don't know. That's like a lot of money in my pocket. What do we do? Tell me in the comments below. What do you do? Anyway, let me know in the comments below, what do you do when you have an item that sits for so long but then sells for a really good price? Would you pick it up again? It's so hard. Like, I never know what to do. Okay, I was excited to find this. It was my first time finding Wilford Free. Since then, I have found a lot of it. This did not have the original brand tag in it, but I felt it and knew that it was something quality, and it was. It was Italian wool in this gray duster length. It was called a coat, but it was like an open knit, and it wasn't extra small, so that probably was why it took a little bit to sell, but I was really excited. I opened it up, I felt it. Definitely use your hands when you're in the thrift store. You'll learn the fabric textures of good quality items. Anyway, I flipped it open and I saw, even though the garment tag was missing, the material tag was there, and so I was able to determine it was Wilford Free, which is an Aritzia brand, and I paid $6.19 at a thrift store in New Orleans for it, and it sold for $74.75, and my take home was $46.54. Okay, let's move on to Mercari. So 2 sales of Mercari to show you. This was a men's item. I'm picking up a lot more men's this year. You'll see that in future hauls. This was a Patagonia pullover. It was vintage. It was made in the USA. And thank you to somebody who saw this in a haul. It might have been my friend Caitlin, who I finally recently met in real life, which was really cool. But I believe it was her that mentioned that this was made in USA, so it was probably vintage, and it was, which was great for me because it sold for $42. And I had paid $4.94 for it. I like selling men's items. I feel like men don't haggle as much. I did have this listed for $55, and they did offer $42, so I took it. I had immediately a lot of offers on this item, but I was happy with that sale, and it only sold in 1 day. So can't beat a fast flip when it's for a good amount too. All right, so another item. I did find this, I know for sure, with Caitlin at the America's Thrift Store. She was there with me when I found these Trip pants. Trip NYC is a goth industrial, I don't know if people use that word anymore, but back in the 90s we did, industrial goth brand. They have all these, they make bondage pants, and they usually have these weird features. This one had zippers, it had lace-up sides. So if you see this brand, Trip NYC, definitely pick it up. These were vintage Trip. They do still make products now, but they're still popular. So I bought these for $4.94 at the America's Thrift Store when Caitlin and I were hanging out for the first time in real life. I did end up selling them for $50. And so I took home $27.96. Okay, and one Etsy sale to share with you. It was a vintage item. Of course, Etsy, you can only sell vintage or handmade items. This was an Escada pure wool pleated schoolgirl skirt and in an A-line silhouette. I bought it for $2.83 at a thrift store, and it flipped for $69 after deductions for fees and shipping. I made $50.10. So don't pass on Etsy. Again, I don't make tons of sales. I have a lot more sales in January to share with you on Etsy, but it is a good platform, and a lot of times I make excellent sales on there. I don't usually have any lowball sales on Etsy. They usually pay up for items, and so I'm super happy about that. So that was my sales for December. I hope you enjoyed checking out what sold for me. Hopefully it helps you in your reselling business, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.